they were in the ruins of Sham. How we all wish that we were there near Sayyeda Zainab alayhi salam, so that we would be able to commemorate what happened to the members of Al Muhammad. Of course, some of these ladies were already stunned. Some of them had no emotion left. Imagine you lost your 6-month-old baby. What emotion do you have left? Imagine those of you who've lost, for example, your brothers. What emotion do you have left? Yes? And that's why on nights like this, it was difficult. And Zainab became an umbrella for the rest of Al Muhammad. That she was the one who was shielding all of them one by one. She was the one who'd stay up late nights, knowing that some of these children all of a sudden may have a nightmare. Those of you who have daughters, how difficult is it when your daughter wakes up in the middle of the night and you fear what's happened, and then you realize, she says, Daddy, I just saw a bad dream. How does that break your heart? And I want you to ask yourself sincerely, those of you who have daughters, when you have that feeling, or you wonder that when your child is coming home from school, I want to make sure that she comes home, her eye is not bruised. She doesn't have any marks of bruising on her body. There is nothing that's affected her at all. Imagine then the daughters of Hussain alayhi salam on the plains of Sham, when on nights like this, one by one, they'd be sitting next to each other trying to sleep, one of them looking around. The moment they'd hear, there's some water for you, O children, one of them would call out, has my uncle Abbas returned? Allahu Akbar. Because for some, the last time they saw Abu al-Fadl, he had gone to get them water, and Abu al-Fadl never goes against his promise. So they were wondering, is my uncle back? Others, when they'd be given water, do you know what they would say? This water, how could you give it to me? My 6-month-old brother hasn't drunk any. Allahu Akbar. Look at the altruism that was there. Much of them, one daughter for days would be asking, where's my father, Auntie Zainab? And the reply would be, your father is on a journey. But Auntie, my father, whenever he'd pray, he'd put me next to him. Only fathers know this relationship with their daughters, yes? Auntie, my father, when he'd pray, he'd always have me next to him. And you'd see Zainab say, don't worry, you can be next to me. You can sleep next to me. Auntie, my father, when he left, he said he would return. Where is he? Until that night, they heard a cry, Wa abata wa Husayna. Allahu Akbar, that cry, when they heard the cry, Zainab alayhi salam woke up, and so did the whole of Sham at that moment. When Sayyida Zainab woke up, the narrations mention that she looked around. Who was it? It was the 3-year-old daughter of Sayyid Shuhada. She had woken up at that moment. Sayyida Zainab said to her, my dear, what is it? She said, Auntie, I wanted to see my father, I beg you. Sayyida Zainab knew for all this time she had said to her, your father's on a journey. But this time the young girl said, but I saw him in my dream. He said to me, come back to me, come towards me. And that moment Sayyida Zainab alayhi salam tried to comfort the young girl, but she was crying and crying. But her scream had awoken Yazid. Yazid woke up. When Yazid woke up, Yazid asked, what is it? What's wrong? What's that scream? And they said to him, apparently one of the daughters of Hussain. He said at that moment, what does she want? They said to him, she wants to see her father. He said, very well, then what are you waiting for? Take the head of her father, let her see him. She was sitting there, she was next to her Auntie Zainab. Suddenly the door opened. When the door opened, she saw a man carrying a bowl that was covered. How many bowls has Zainab seen? Zainab has seen many bowls. But this time the young girl called out, Auntie, why are they giving me food? I'm not hungry. When she lifted the bowl, she saw the holy head of Aba Abdullah in front of her. The moment she saw the head, she called out, Wa abata wa Husayna. She fell on the head of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. When she fell on the head, she had some words she wanted to say to her father. These are the words any daughter would say, but especially a daughter who misses her father. Father Aba Abdullah, who severed your head from your neck? Who drenched your beard with all that blood? Father, Father, who's there for the orphans after you? All of a sudden a pause, a silence. What was that silence? May Allah never show you that silence with your own daughter, because you want to hear her say something, you want to hear her say some words, but there were no words. All that could be heard was Zayn al-Abidin calling out, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. That moment she passed away, they had all come together. One by one, they came to try and hold Sayyida Zainab alayhi salam. Abbas had died, she controlled herself. Hussein had died, she controlled herself. Even Aun and Muhammad. But Ruqayya broke the heart of Zainab alayhi salam. If you think it broke her heart, Rabab had already lost one. Now Rabab saw another child without any sound from them. In that moment, Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, what did he do? He came towards the nurse who was there. He said to her, oh nurse, if you can, I'd like you to take this child away. Please go and do the ghusl of this child. Every daughter deserves that when she dies, there's someone to wash her body. And that moment, the lady went. She went to wash the body. They were all expecting her to come back a while later. She didn't. She came back shortly afterwards. When she came back, the Imam said to her, why have you returned? She looked at Sayyida Zainab. She said to her, was she ill, the young girl, when she died? Zainab alayhi salam said, no, she wasn't. Why do you say that? Listen to the reply. Then why are there so many blue marks on the body of this young girl? Tell me. Zainab, when she heard this, she fell on the ground. The Imam looked towards her and said, those aren't the marks of an illness. Those are the marks of the whips of Shimr bin al-Jawshan. I leave you with this line. When they returned to Karbala on the Arba'een, naturally Sayyida Zainab and the rest all went to the grave of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. But when she came towards the grave, she wanted to open her heart to Imam Hussain. What would she tell him about? The way they punched her, the way they kicked her, the way they attacked her? No, she was higher than that. Aba Abdullah, you left a group of amanat with me. You left a group of trusts with me. I've returned all of them to you, but one I left in the land of Sham. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.